To full-time on your Super Saturday, the Broncos season has officially hit the dead end. You can see there the Sunday Mail is reporting that Anthony Seibold stayed in Sydney to deal with a very serious family issue. Now that means he'll be banned from coaching for the next 2 weeks. Hopefully he will be back in Brisbane in the next 48 hours. Chairman Carl Morris very concerned about the welfare of their coach Anthony Seibold, but of course family does come first. But Seibold under enormous pressure. The fresh drama is Darius Boyd, former captain, has quit the leadership group over ongoing differences and communication with Anthony Seibold. Now, Peter Bedell is reporting that Boyd has cut ties with the club's senior core and instead will only deal one-on-one with Darius Boyd. What does that say about the state of the Brisbane Broncos?
I think it unlocks some underlying issues, Von, that have been festering away for, probably 12 months, to be honest. The fact that Darius Boyd, I know he had a really good game last week in his first game back at fullback, but his form's been concerning for quite a period of time. And the fact that the Brisbane Broncos and Anthony Seibold took the captaincy off Darius Boyd and moved him into a position that he'd rarely played in, I thought was extremely disrespectful and obviously upset Darius no end. I think the leadership of previous management there would have, and we've seen it under Wayne Bennett a number of times, where he had this wonderful knack of being able to tell players a year before they went too long of when their time was up and managed them at that club and made sure that they were respected and were able to leave on good terms. And the fact that Darius was somewhat embarrassed, taken the captaincy away from him and moved into that position of centre, which he'd rarely played at and really struggled in the early stages of this year, just shows that the erosion of the leadership between Anthony Seibold and Darius Boyd has got to a point where they're just not seeing eye to eye anymore. And the fact that he stepped away from the leadership group is a real shame that it's been made public. I think that's a real concern, that the constant stuff coming out of the club is a real concern. But the fact that this has come out at such an untimely stage for the club, but also for Darius in the sense that he's got 8 games remaining. He's been a big part of that club for such a long time, and sure, he hasn't played his best footy in the last 12 months, but neither of the Broncos' side. He's not on his own, that's for sure, and it's really disappointing, to be honest.
So Darius hugely frustrated that his repeated requests to play fullback were being rejected by Anthony Seibold, and also his suggestions at leadership meetings he felt were falling on deaf ears.
If you had watched the game the other night, when the Brisbane Broncos were behind the line, he was the voice. Yeah. He was rallying the side, trying to inspire them and get them going. So clearly he hasn't lost his presence in the group, and it probably just shines the light on his relationship with Siebold even more. That Monday to Friday he doesn't want to be a part of that, but when game day comes around,
Darius has had a fantastic career.
Yep.
This is how I look at it. He's had a fantastic career, and perhaps, man, what you're saying is that he has been treated with a bit of disrespect from the club around the captaincy and around these positions he plays. He's been a fullback most of his life. That's his preferred position. He's played winger and he's played centre before particularly for the Broncos. I'm disappointed. The thing that I'm disappointed about is that I want Darius to leave the game with dignity.
Yep.
Because he has been a great servant of the game. He has been. He's been highly successful. He's won premierships. He's played for his state. He's played for his country with distinction. With this situation, to make it so public, it shouldn't have got to that stage, Mick. It just goes to say, well, listen, I don't know who's advising Darius, but Darius should have been advised to leave the game in dignity. So you don't have to do this. You don't have to be, you don't have to step down from the leadership group. You don't have to make this a public affair. Just make sure that when you leave the game, your reputation's intact. That's the way I look at it.
I'm with Mel. I only come from a different angle as well. Look, there's obviously something going on between Darius and Siebold. We don't know how deep that strain goes to, but Darius Boyd arrived at the Brisbane Broncos as a young man. He arrived with players like Lockyer, Webke, Thorne, you name it, keep going on the list. He's now the new Lockyer. He's got guys like Tony Staggs, Dearden, Fafita's not there, but Payne, Haas. He is the new Lockyer. He should be showing these guys whether his relationship with the coach is beyond repair or not. he is the most influential, the most senior person at that football club. I think he's got a responsibility to that group, the members and the fans, to have the dignity, finish these last 8 games at the highest level, but show these young guys what NRL football is all about.
But does he have to do that in a leadership group meeting? Like if Darius has had an absolute gutful of what's happened to him personally, and to see the relationship between him and Anthony Seibold.
No,
I agree.
Leadership group, just stick it out. Just stick it out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's got a responsibility, and he's accepted that responsibility all through his career.
Yep.
You know, he's had his ups and downs. You know, and he's handled life really, really well to the stage now he has become a bit of a statesman, particularly in the mental health area and things like that. So I mean, all I'm saying,
He gets to a point though where he's got 8 games to go or 9 games to go, and he seems to be front and centre of everything that's going on. Yet they've removed him publicly from that captaincy role, and he's just gone, well, why am I doing this? Why can't I just enjoy my last 8 weeks?
Everybody else knows that, Mick.
Yeah.
I mean, the public know it.
He's not going to enjoy that 8 weeks by having this across the back page of the Courier Mail and discussed on all these shows. So
he's keeping the story going.
My angle should have been that whatever it is, keep it quiet, but then be that person that these young kids need for the last 8 games and right off from the sunset without a headline attached to it. Because
I just wonder if we're in this situation if Anthony Seibold, and part of being a head coach is you have to make tough decisions.
Yeah.
That at the back end of last season, when Darius wasn't playing his best football, that they didn't go to Darius's management and said, listen, we want to do this respectfully, but, you know, we don't think Darius is going to be the captain next year, and we also don't think he'll be playing fullback. Have a conversation with Darius. If he's not comfortable in playing another position for us, then we want to do the right thing by him, and we'll manage him through the next 12 months, through his contract, whether that be payout, whether that's work with the club, and move forward in that regard. But I think it was a really powerful move with Darius's relationship, obviously in amongst the group, and how senior his voice is, given the inexperience that they've got there, to take the captaincy away from him, play him in another position. And I thought it was only ever going to end.
Well, he's looked disconnected this season. He has, and for a senior player, now, we don't want to see Darius exit the Broncos as a bitter old boy, because the Broncos have got enough of those.
That's exactly
And he doesn't
right.
deserve to be regarded like that. So hopefully they reach a resolution. And you're right, the way that it's publicly being played out is detrimental to Darius and to the Broncos and to Anthony Seibold and everyone involved.
It's another unnecessary headline, I suppose, when they're trying to fight their way out of what's been a disastrous season.
It just keeps going from bad to worse for the Broncos, unfortunately. All right, well, we did